Good morning, everybody. My name is Rlrrls. I've been drumming since 1998, which makes me very old. I still got a lot of stuff to work on today. I'm actually going to just be chopping out for funsies. I didn't really stream much this last week. My wife was sick, so taking care of her, all that stuff, which is, part of life. In these practice streams, I like to share what I'm practicing, how I'm practicing, trying to improve as somebody who's been drumming forever. All of these 300 plus, almost 400 practice streams include timestamps in the description, so you can see like what I was practicing, how I was working on it, including all the bajillion mistakes that I make, as well as what I was talking about. Because I've been drumming for so long, and because I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education, people will often ask me like how to improve their drumming or how to improve their teaching, etc. And I will often edit those answers that I give to the various chats that I've got up, since I'm multi-streaming, and I will put them into these drumming tips videos that has over 13 hours of free drumming tips in here that I've learned over the decades that I've been drumming and teaching and whatnot. Now, all of the play-alongs that I'll be using to just like chop out, have some fun this morning, can be found on my home tab on YouTube. There's literally thousands of them, over 2,000 play-alongs. So if you go to the home tab, we've got it organized alphabetically into different like categories. So the first section is the chops. I'll probably be spending most of my morning working on that. Got gaming stuff because I'm a nerd. Over 1,000 grid variations in here. So if you click on here, it actually expands and it shows you all of the playlists. Otherwise, it only shows you the first 12. If you like scroll here, it stops. Boop. But there's more than just up to flam drags. We've got a bunch of playlists for limb independence. I'll work on that tomorrow. We've got a bunch of marching bass exercises, some cadences, computer science stuff. Again, I'm a nerd. We've got a ton of technique stuff. This is another one where you got to actually click to show all of the playlist. But there's hundreds of technique exercises in here to keep you and I busy for a while. And then here's where you can find all the tips, the scripted lessons, and then the full live stream recordings if that interests you. Again, this is on my home tab. Thousands of exercises for free. Oh, and if any of them say members first, it just means they're coming out. So they're all scheduled to release for free, but if you want early access, you can get it. It's only 99 cents. That's the absolute cheapest I can make it on YouTube. So you can do that if you would like to, but no pressure. They're all coming out for free. There's over 466 videos, I think, that are scheduled to release. We're going to get motivated with Shia LaBeouf. You're probably like, why is Shia there? You'll see. Here we go. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. I screwed up. I'm sorry. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, yeah, Shia LaBeouf. I am tired of starting over. Thank you so much. I do that to, not take these streams too seriously, just to have fun with it. Now, this is, by the way, the link that's at the top of like every one of the play-alongs. This is just organized neater than what I can on YouTube. If you're on vertical, it's jaredrlrrls.com/drum. It's that link. But this is where you can find all the chop exercises, the 1,000+ grid variations, all the limb independent stuff. I'll do that tomorrow. The marching bass, the scores, the technique, and then the lessons. It doesn't include all the gaming and computer science stuff. So if you want everything neatly organized, go here. Now, I'm going to warm up today, and I'm going to warm up with something that's surprisingly a really good way to get your hands, get the blood flowing in them. The grid variations with buzzes, if you do them like all buzzes, whether it's the triplet or the 16th note, it's a really good way to actually warm up. So let me show you. So we're just going to go to buzzes, and we're going to do the normal version, so 4-2-1, as opposed to backwards, which is 1-2-4. We're going to buzzes. And that is not the resolution that I am looking for. Thank you for that suggestion. In all these thousands of play-alongs, there's timestamps in the description, so you can find whatever BPM you want to warm up or to work on your technique or whatever. Helps you to practice like listening. I'm going to see how 140 feels for a warm-up. What? I got to turn up the volume. There we go. Here we go. There's also a variation where it's like buzzes on taps. That's also a fun one. Can help prepare you for like concert percussion stuff. Like if you're doing like Cerrone or De La Cluse, there's some really cool stuff that you can do with like the buzzes on the taps. Let's go faster. Again, just trying to get the blood flowing. Then I'm going to stretch and massage to, you know, help loosen everything up. And then I'm just going to play some fun chop stuff. Go. We'll just keep going up at 10s. Thank you for the like on the YouTube vertical. This play along and thousands more. Home tab. Literally over 2,000. For free! Now you notice that it like immediately counts off, but if you do a BPM that ends with a 0 or a 5, so like 60 or 65, then it'll give you a few seconds to get yourself set up, so that way, you know, you can like get ready and not have it, like if I were to start at like 181, it just like immediately taps off. Let's do 190, then we'll do 200, and then we're going to stretch and massage. And then we'll play some actual chop stuff. This is just like a quick warm-up. Now, the very last BPM will just immediately tap off. Even though it ends with a 0, it's just immediately into it. Do it! Yeah! So, buzz grid variations, great way to get yourself warmed up. Any kind of buzzes, like Vanguard back in the day used to do this. We're talking like early 2000s. So they'd play like exercise called Schlitz and Giggles. And so when the first time they did it, like they'd play through it and it'd just be like all buzzes, and then it'd be tap on the accent. So and then they'd play it just like normally with no buzzes. And then with like diddles and a couple of diddle variations and whatnot. So it's a great way to just get your blood flowing, your hands going. Once you do that, stretch and massage. So first stretch I'm going to do stretches the sides of the forearms. So we're going to pull in, and then push through. Is that a weird stretch? Yeah. There's better camera angles under the drumming lessons playlist, which the video is called This Hand Routine Saved My Drumming. And it gives you like a better explanation of like the stretches I'm doing. It shows you like how to stretch for traditional or for rotary grips like Stevens grip marimba, etc. But I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the forearm. Ooh wee. Could do it like that. You could do 2 fingers for a deeper stretch. I'm going to do it on the wall. The lower I go, the deeper the stretch. Ooh, it feels good already. Yeah, thanks for the like. I appreciate you. Ooh, good stretch. Oh yeah. Why did I hide that? Drums. Hey Tyler, how you doing? You know, I was actually thinking about you, Tyler. So I responded to somebody on Reddit, like they're asking like the usual like practicing stuff, and I give like the general percentages what I recommend for practicing. But I'm curious for tenors. Well, let me back up. So for people who aren't familiar with it, so for like I shouldn't be allowed to play drums. Yeah, because I'm too good. Just make everyone want to quit. No, so for snare drum, 50 to 60% of the time, like just technique. And then for like 30 to 40% of the time, grid variations. And then like 10-20% of the time, chops. Cool, that's fine. Like good rough estimate of like what to work on. But for tenors, when you're working on technique, just the vertical and not the horizontal, what percentage of time do you allocate to that? So like one of the ways that I was thinking is like 40% on the horizontal, 30% for the technique, and then 20% for grid variations, and then like 10% for the chops. So like a 4, 3, 2, 1, just like as an easy way to remember it. But I'm curious, like for you, as somebody who's like actually a tenor player, as opposed to me, who's just pretending to be one, like what percentage of time roughly do you recommend for like students, like for spending on like technique, chops, grid, the horizontal motion, etc.? Know what I mean? Sometimes the comments that people leave is like, was that intended as like a joke? As a compliment? As a diss? Who knows? But it's funny that it's coming from somebody named Karen. Because, you know, that name's been memed. What is my educational background? So, this, since we're on the vertical, where it says drum, if you replace that with CV, then you can actually see, like, the full thing. So if you go here, boop, on here, I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education. I have over a dozen publications. I presented over 100 times across North America. I've worked on multi-million-dollar grants as a co-PI. I've been doing a bunch of service stuff. I've taught every single grade kindergarten through doctoral student. But, yeah, this is a CV. If you really want to get nerdy, CV, it'll take you there. But we're stretching and massaging. It's harder to find because they interact a bit more. Yeah, I agree. Can't really be practicing chops instead of, keeping the same as snare, but have a separate entity. But like, so some tenor like lines will do like, we're going to play on vertical, like around, like a rep, and then we'll do like multiple reps on horizontal. So, you know, Travis, yeah, no, it's a really good question to like ask about qualifications of people. Cause there are some people who like, have a lot of like educational videos, like quite frankly, way more subs than I do. And they've got questionable playing and questionable teaching. But yeah, so I think it's important to ask, especially because there's like a lot of people trying to create content out there. What I ended up doing is I like was a performer and then an educator, and didn't make any content until a few years ago. I was working at a nonprofit as a director of education and research. And I created a bunch of like online like tutorial videos for computer science stuff, because I'm a nerd. And then was like, oh, I made this company 8 figures worth of money. So like, what if I like created my own content for free? And so like I started creating my own. So yeah, some people, they're, you know, really not qualified to talk, but like, hey, we all have different perspectives. I'm in extreme metal drumming. They have no real background. Yeah, no, I hear you. I saw some metal drumming videos specifically where the courses they were selling were like, their hourly rate is like what I do as an educational consultant. So like hundreds of dollars an hour. And for teaching drums is what they were trying to charge. But when I watched their like free content online, I was like, I wouldn't say that you're at that level, but if people are willing to pay it, like, cool, that's great. But Travis, since you're into metal drumming, there's on my YouTube home tab is where you can find all the thousands of play-alongs I'm about to play through. There's under the technique section, there's a section under there, a playlist called, what is it? Let me just pull it up. Under technique. Yeah, endurance and speed. So here, I'll show you how to get to it from YouTube since that's where you're at. So if you go to my home tab, boop, and you scroll down, and you go into the technique section right here, boop. What I recommend, if you want to work on your feet, the endurance and speed exercises are a fun way to do that. Now, I give the disclaimer that, like, I suck at double bass. Like, I'm just now literally learning it. Like, I just got some a couple months ago. But this playlist right here has a ton of really cool exercises, like stick control variations or things like that, pyramid, whatever. But some of the, like, chug variations are really fun, like chug with hertas, which I'll just go ahead and, like, chop out with for funsies. We'll do that. But yeah, anyways. Let's see. So let me see what Tyler's saying. No, don't worry about it. You don't need to apologize for having to step away. You do you, Tyler. A $350 clinic? Wow. Your group charges $50? I mean, some of the best, like, educational stuff that I've seen has been free. So I can't imagine $350 for a clinic. I know I'm, like, really weird. So, like, I started creating all the free resources on my website in 2003, and, like, all my publications, presentations, all these resources are free. But, like, most drummers I know sell a book, sell a course, sell an app, sell private lessons. Like, I don't teach privately anymore, so, like, I know I'm, like, a weird drummer and whatnot. But hey, Travis, you're very welcome. Yeah, I don't know. It's just... You're just about to ask about private lessons? Yeah, I used to teach privately. So one of the, like, holdups that I have with it, so as an educational consultant, my normal hourly rate was $250 an hour. And so, like, if I wanted to start, like, working with people one-on-one, again, I could charge $250 an hour for educational stuff, or, like, maybe $50 an hour for, like, teaching privately, even though, like, I'm, like, obviously qualified to teach for more than that amount, but, like, people aren't really able to pay higher than that. So, like, the way I look at it is I don't want to do the one-on-one stuff because that helps one person at a time. What I'd rather do is, like, create the resources that, like, anyone can use. And so, like, that's what I focus on, is, like, I would rather make a video that, like, thousands of people can watch for free as opposed to pay, like, have somebody pay whatever the hourly rate is going to be for that. But, you know, teach their own. Yeah, I appreciate kind words, Travis. I think I just played at the same BPM. You know, one of those mornings. 120. So, yeah, Travis, if you play this, like, with, like, boom, scat with your hands and you play this with your feet, it'd be a fun one. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. 130. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, like, try and intentionally get to a breaking point with my playing. And it'll just give me some data for some things I'll work on a technique stream where I'm actually practicing. Meshuggah beat? Yeah, it's definitely a bleed beat. I saw somebody yesterday who was playing bleed with one hand and, like, obviously with the feet while solving a Rubik's Cube. And I was like, I'm so glad I make educational content, because if, like, that's what you got to do to get attention as just a performer. Yeah, no, I'm good. Sounds like hot for teacher. That's funny. Hey, good morning, Greg. It's kind of weird that like the chat has the like leaderboard now, and you like get experience points for like talking more and less. It's like weird. I'm still getting used to that. I don't know if everybody's chat has that, or like if they're just like beta testing it with like different streamers. Woo! Left hand slowing down. Can I play it at 160? No, I couldn't play it at 150. Am I gonna play it at 160? Yeah. For funsies. Why did it just hold the word man for review? YouTube, that's weird. Swing and a miss. What content am I playing? Right now I'm just like chopping out with stuff. So this this exercise, you can either find it under the technique sections if you scroll down. Under technique, it's in the endurance and speed playlist right here. So the one that I was just playing is called Chug with Hertas, and so everything in here is like great for working on your hand, speed, endurance, etc. But you could also do it with your feet. So like we were saying, like Bleed by Meshuggah. So there's a couple of Chug variations in here, but if you want to find like more Chug variations, if you go under the chop section right here, so when you click on this one, and it's got all these different chop specific stuff. So the Chug variations has 29 videos inside of here, and there's a lot of fun ones that you can do to like work on your speed. So like for example, paradiddle and paradiddles, So this one, it starts off paradiddle diddle paradiddle diddle and then paradiddle paradiddle. Okay, so it's the same pattern of the hertas that you're doing. Now, let's do a quick lesson here. Okay, so paradiddle. When people are trying to play this thing, like for whatever reason, drummers are obsessed with this rudiment. I don't know why, but right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, so when you're doing a paradiddle, if you're thinking of individual strokes and you're going right, left, 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 eventually you're gonna get to a point where your brain stops and you're gonna hit that plateau, that wall where you're like, I can't go any faster. And you're like, but what do I do to improve it? Stop thinking of the individual sticking, the four notes and four notes, like if you're doing back-to-back paradiddles, and think of the grouping and think paradiddle as opposed to right, left, right, right. So when I'm playing this, I'm thinking right, left, right, left, right, left. So I'm chunking, cognitively speaking, to the point where I'm thinking of the accent pattern and just letting the interior notes, the taps, just kind of work itself out while I'm playing faster, as opposed to thinking right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left. Okay, so think this while you're doing that, and then I'll make it so you can speed up a rudiment. Same thing if you're working on like your flam drags. Don't think flam diddle tap, just think flam drag whenever you're working on it. Anyways, let's slow this down and then we'll do this. You don't know how to play rudiments? So thank you for the like. If you're on the home tab here, what I recommend doing is actually grid variations, like I warmed up with, but with a rudiment. So there's some great ways to work on, like, if you want to work on, I don't know, improve your cheeses or something.
Grid is one.
We only need one of me, not two. You can't see it. I started playing a video. So work on like a rudiment with the rudiment on one, and that'll allow you to like refine it by playing like cheeses in this case. So that's the first measure, and then the second measure you're putting accent on 2, and then accent on 3, and then you do 2 of each one of those. So on 1, 2, 3, and then 1 of each of those. 1, 2, 3 for the partial. So you're going, etc. But if this is too advanced for you, totally cool. Don't worry about it. Underneath the technique section.
Grid is one of the best exercises you can practice to work on a root.
Oh, man. It won't even let me stop the video. Let's refresh it. There we go. I only need one Jared yelling, not two. Underneath technique, when you click on it and expand it, there's a rudiment builders playlist. So this is a great way to work on different rudiments. So like if you want to speed up your paradiddles, cool, check out paradiddle zoom zoom. If you want to speed up your downstrokes, these are going to come out for free. They're currently members first. They're all coming out for free, don't worry. But if you want to get early access, 99 cents. But check out these like cheese builders. There's 3 variations, or flam drag builders, or flam 5 builders, etc. Go slow, like stupid slow, like 40 beats a minute. Not as fast as I'm playing today. Today is just chop out day. This is not a normal practice routine. But that's how you work on a rudiment, is like doing stuff like that. Another way to work on a rudiment, if you go underneath the technique, is fast, slow, fast, or the opposite of that, slow, fast, slow. So these play alongs, like if you're working on like you want to improve a paradiddle or something, you would go to like the 16th note variation of this, and you would go into the timestamps, and you would select a BPM range and be like, okay, I can play my paradiddles at 120 beats a minute at 16th notes. Then you'd start off by clicking here, and what it's going to do is it's going to count off, and it's just going to play 16th notes starting at 40, and it's slowly going to get faster. I'm skipping ahead until it gets all the way up to whatever your maximum tempo is, and then it'll hold it there for 4 measures, and then it'll slow it back down. So now it's going slower. Oops, I skipped really far ahead. I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry. Unsub. But anyways, so it starts slow, it gets fast, and then it slows back down again. That's another way that you can work on your rudiments. But if you want to work on like more rudiments and stuff, underneath the drumming tips, there's a lot of playlists for that. Travis, so in terms of like moving the rudiments around the kit, yes, if you play it on one drum first, so this is actually kind of what I was talking about with Tyler earlier. So when you're playing vertical, so like a cheese, and then you start doing, I don't know, crossovers or something. Let me switch my sticks. So if you're playing and you do this, and then you're trying to do crossovers with like cheeses, if you can't play this good on one drum, then as soon as you get onto like multiple drums and doing all this like crossovers, it's just gonna like, it's gonna sound like that, which is, in case anyone wonders, not good. So don't do that. So what you could do is like alternate, so you're playing like just on snare or a pad or whatever, and then all right, now I'm gonna do a rep like this, and then back to one drum, and now I'm gonna do a rep around the kit, whatever. But yeah, it's super important to be able to have the level of consistency that you want on one drum, and then apply it to multiple drums. If you're playing on drum kit, you don't have to worry about like the consistency of like playing and sounding good with like several other people, unlike what you have to do for drumline, where it's like everyone and their mom can hear the dirt if you're playing like 3 strokes, and then you put like multiple people together. If you are slightly off, everyone can hear that, as opposed to playing at the same time. So you don't have to worry about that on drum kit, but it's super important to be able to have the sound that you want to get out of your playing. So highly recommend focusing on that consistency when you are practicing, and then put it on whatever drum you want. What's that little thing that popped up? What's that say? Hey, thank you for the gifted. I appreciate that. Highest cams. I appreciate you. Wow, that was a really weird like delay on there. I was like, something just popped up on my screen. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Anyways, I was rambling too much. So the exercise I was going to play was a chug variation. So again, this is under the chop stuff. Chug.
You have more than 20?
Okay, we only need one, Jared. I've already established that. So paradiddle diddle and paradiddle, that one. And we're going to go into the timestamps, and we're going to do 80, starting off here. Start off at ridiculously slow BPM. Get the technique and motion down, then speed up. Yes, that's, so normally when I'm like practicing, as opposed to just having fun, like today's stream, what I do is I'd start at 40, and I just let it go one click at a time. And I really just focus on my technique and whatnot. So that's what I'd normally recommend doing. But today we're just like chopping out. So yeah, be patient with it. Again, think right, left, right, left, right, 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 left, right, 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 left, right, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right, left. You can also do paradiddle fours if you want. And now we're going to go up by tens because I'm just chopping out this morning. But if you were practicing, go up by one. Just one. Ichi. Uno. I keep wanting to make those four strokes off the left. It's just a fun variation on that. Oh, another way that you can actually work on your endurance and speed and whatnot. The sticks that I'm using are Hardeman hammers, which are like extra heavy sticks. So they're like 44% heavier than normal Hardemans. So this is another way that you can like work on endurance. So I'm noticing that left hand is still trying to get German approach, which for anyone who's not familiar with it, let's do the overhead. German flat. French is where your hands face each other, thumbs on top. American's in between, so sloped angle down. So my tendency with my left hand, because I marched snare drum, traditional grip, and now I'm playing match grip, my tendency is for my left hand to be more flat like this, as opposed to American like that. So it's slightly flattening out, which is not ideal. I'm so sorry I failed you. What speed are we at? 7. Okay. I've actually, on April 1st of next year, I've got Susie releasing at 1 BPM. It takes 32 minutes to play through it at 1 BPM. Whee! 120. Do it. If this is too fast for you and you're playing long, hey, slow it down. No shame in that. Look at this. This is how my stick ended up. It was just slowly sliding, and it started here. So, not ideal. That's why my right hand at the end was just like, no! Sorry for all the questions. You don't need to apologize for that. Can I give any pointers on molar? I don't know. Knutson. I don't know that person. But... So I don't actually recommend doing finger for a lot of your strokes. So since you're mainly drum kit, it sounds like, one of the issues that you'll have if you play with just fingers and you rely too much on them is you have to have a surface that has a lot of rebound. So like this drum pad, a lot of rebound. So I can get away with like a finger French technique as opposed to like a rotary French technique. And I can play with the back of the fingers and get like a fast stroke on it. Cool. But if I play on a floor tom, or if I play on even different types of cymbals and whatnot, you might not have this level of rebound on here. And so that level of rebound, like reliance, is going to make it so that you're not going to be able to play on different types of surfaces. So the stroke that I use is actually primarily the wrist stroke. And it's not that there's a right or wrong way to play. It's just right or wrong depending on the context, the music you're playing, the kind of sound you want to get, the speed you're playing at, blah, 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 blah. So the technique that I use mainly focuses on wrist. So when I'm playing, my wrist is bending the entire time, and it's getting that floppiness. And that's because I'm playing relaxed, which is also why I use like a triangle fulcrum. But if I were to squeeze the fulcrum point here and play like this, it's going to make it so you can't actually bend your wrist. So if I'm relaxed I can move my wrist. If I squeeze my fingers and get like the white knuckles, you know, where you're like, whoop, like that, that's cutting off the blood flow to the finger. It makes it so you can't actually bend your wrist. Like, try it. So like, stay relaxed. And then as soon as you squeeze, like, you get this like pumping, like you're churning butter or something. Don't do that. So for myself, because I'm mainly wrist, it makes it so that I can play whatever I want. So like if I'm playing that paradiddle diddle exercise that I was just doing, that chug variation, I can wrist them all. And it's because I've worked on the wrist technique. But if I'm reliant on the bounce, I can't really do that on a floor tom if it doesn't have bounce, if I'm using like a finger technique, because you're relying on the stick to be able to come back up, and then you use this again. But that's just my 2 cents. I will say that there are some phenomenal drummers who only do like a finger French technique, but it makes it so that they can only play certain styles of music that are kind of easy to be connected with, like the technique you're using. But for the technique that I use, because like mainly I've been like rudimental drummer and then concert percussion as well, it's wrist, so it gives me more power with the speed that I want to be able to get, while not sacrificing like the sound quality and whatnot. So if you want a thinner, faster sound, you could play like a finger French technique. It's just going to make it so you can't play with as much control at like lower volumes, or even like have more power behind your stroke, but to each their own. So like a lot of people who will do blast beats will do like this finger French technique, and it works on a surface that bounces. But if you don't have a surface that bounces, then you can't really do that. Like you can't get the finger strokes as much as you could with like a solid wrist technique. But I will say that, like, again, to emphasize, there's no right or wrong way to play. So I've got several drumming tips videos that talk about that. So on the home tab, if you scroll down to the tips and lessons section, underneath the drumming tips right here, there's like videos that talk about like technique dogmatism, where like some people get so hung up on like, here's the only way to play, you don't play anything else ever, blah, 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 blah. I disagree with that strongly. But if you want to know, Travis, since you're asking about like double strokes, there are videos that specifically talk about like what I recommend for working on your diddles, which is another way of saying double stroke. So like drumming tips 83, a thorough approach for learning and refining your diddles, super SEO optimized. No, it's not. That is a good place to start. But there's like other videos in here that can like help you out with like your double strokes and like how I'm able to play fast rolls, like starting off slow and getting faster. It gets into a pumping technique, etc. So you can do different things wrist-based and still get really fast rolls without like having to rely on like a finger approach, etc. Another thing that I guess that I don't like about finger technique is it's very difficult to get quick contrast in heights. And because like drumline is usually like a 2-height system where you're playing high, low, that's like an oversimplification of it, but it's often described that way. Because of that, I need to be able to get that power and that quick motion to be able to go up and then down. And so the wrist is better for that than like a finger approach, which I learned finger technique like at the beginning, like my wrist didn't move. My instructor first taught me like to play like this with no wrist movement whatsoever. And I've shifted over to a wrist approach. So I've done it, but I don't like it. Open, close, push, pull. Yeah. So there are some people who do that. I personally don't like it because it's inconsistent. It's fine on drum kit, but if you've heard some of the drum lines that like overly rely on push-pull, their taps are inconsistent. No offense to anyone who plays that way. But when you use one technique and get one sound out of it, then you're going to have, like, if I'm just doing a wrist stroke like this, it's much easier to make it sound like cut and paste of a rhythm than it is like if I'm doing like push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. So like 2 different kind of motions for it. You'll get inconsistencies in the tap sound quality. And that's fine with you if you're playing on drum kit and you're the only person who's playing there. But if you are playing with like 8 other dudes and dudettes, on like a snare line or something, like good luck cleaning that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like push pull. It's because my background's in rudimental. Which, speaking of, let's play some rudimental stuff. So we're in the chop section. We're gonna do a shopping spree. Let's see. Let's do Blue Devils 99. This is a classic. No. We're not starting at 176. That's what we aspire to. My hands will burst into flames at that speed. Stay tuned. Today's episode of Jared's just having fun. 120. Now we'll go up by tens. Again, if you're practicing, just let it go up one click at a time. I designed them this way for a reason. I'm glad you found my page. Hey, Travis, so I do respond to all the comments. So if you have a question and you can't make a future stream, which I'm trying to do daily, just leave a comment, and then I can be like, oh, I'll answer that in today's stream, and I'll include like timestamps in the description so you can just like jump to it. But yeah, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. Been drumming forever, been teaching forever. Happy to just share what I know for free. Trying to help out people and whatnot. But if you enjoy this content, just share it with somebody else. It just helps more people find it. That's all I ask. But you're very welcome. Click. And again, all the members first stuff are all coming out for free. So again, I appreciate the member donation, but you don't have to pay for any of it. It's all free. This might take a while, because I've got over 400. Couldn't talk on that last couple lines. Got over 460 videos that are scheduled to release. So it might take more than a year for something to come out, but it'll come out for free. I promise. $140. Whee! 150. What's the breaking point going to be today? Stay tuned. We'll find out. I'm thinking 160. My hands are... It's a little slow today. $180. With these Hardiman hammers, I don't know about that. Let's see what Google Translate says that is. Not even Google Translate knows. Hey, Ty, how you doing on Instagram? I'm just gonna go ahead and hide that comment because I don't know what it says. For all I know, it says, wow, super cool. Thanks for all the free stuff. You're welcome. Or it might say something inappropriate. Don't doubt myself. Yeah, I need to go with Shia LaBeouf like we did at the beginning. Do it! Motivation. More language I don't understand. Let's try translating that to English. No need for Google, just feel. See, the problem with like not knowing the language is that like I don't know if it's appropriate or not, so I gotta remove it. If it's in English and maybe a little bit of Nihongo, then I can understand it. What's a good way to work on tenor sweeps? Tyler might have an answer if Tyler's there. I'm not trying to recruit you. But Tyler is was on the horizontal. They're a tenor player. I've got a video I'll show you here in a minute. Here we go. Oh my. Oh my. You've been binging a series called RE0? Like Resident Evil 0? I didn't know they made a series. Based off the games, I'm assuming? Okay, we're gonna attempt it. But first, a word from today's sponsor. It's called water. It's great. Enjoy that ASMR. And then I'll answer Highest Cam's question. I'll point you specifically to a video that talks about it. Wish me luck. I'm gonna lower the heights a little bit. Hello, John. Flawless. Flawless. That was the alternative ending. I'll write out that play long for it in the future, but it completely changes the last couple lines here. I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for that play long. It'll come out in 5 years from now. Anyways, so let me answer your question, Highest Cam. Good question. So if you go all the way down to, yeah, we're a one-take kind of person. I've never made a mistake once while streaming ever. If you go down to the tips and lessons section on my home tab, and if you scroll down, there's a video called Intro to Tenor Playing Zones. Where's it at? I'll give you the exact number. There's too much content. All the videos. Where's the video? Intro. Okay, so number 67. So this one, if you go into here, yeah, it starts talking about tenor playing zones, but it also talks about like how to move around the drums and what it should look like with like the windshield wiper approach, which I elaborate on in this video. But then it talks about how to come up with splits for an exercise to be able to work on moving around the drums and whatnot, so you can get your sweeps down. So this video is a great way to like take some of the technique exercises that are on the home tab and figure out how to apply them across the different drums and whatnot when you are practicing on the tenors. So I highly recommend taking a look at drumming tips number 67. So that way you can learn that. And then there's other videos that specifically talk about sweeps. So sweep, like number 58, talks about how to get comfortable with the sweeps, also known as scrapes, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, that's a good place for you to start, Highest Cam. Windshield wiper. Yeah. So I elaborate on more in the video, but the again, because I'm using a wrist-based approach, I do not want to have bend in my wrist when I'm playing, and I don't want to turn my wrist over, which you can totally do. It's called Julie Spencer technique. Use it on mallets, but sometimes I use it on drum kit where you just like play like this. But with tenors, you want to be able to move around the drums where you're keeping the wrist at the same angle the entire time. So it's like you're playing on a vertical surface, and all you're doing is just changing where you're moving by like kind of pivoting your arm without changing. So if I'm like playing on drums 2 and 4, I'm not gonna go like this and move my wrist like this. What I'm gonna do is keep my vertical stroke the exact same, and I'm moving my arm like this, so like that basically, without moving my wrist, okay? So the windshield wiper approach, what it talks about in the video is you're moving your sticks like this, so you get the same distance, equidistance, from the rim to the head that you're playing on. So if I were to play so that my right hand is here and my left hand is here, if this were on an actual drum, this would sound more resonant, so it would be like boom, boom, boom. And then towards the center of the drum, you get a thud, a deader sound. It's more closed off, more staccato. So if you play like this, you're gonna have bang, boom, bang, boom, bang, boom, where it's like bang, more resonant, and then a dead there. So if you play like a windshield wiper approach, then it makes it so you get resonant, resonant, because it's this equidistance from the rim when you're playing. So when I go like this, I play with my right hand above my left, because it's the shortest distance as opposed to like this. And then when I move over to the other side, I play my left hand above the right, because this is easier for my right as opposed to like this, where you have to like stretch. So that video unpacks it more, but it's a windshield wiper approach when you're moving without bending the wrist and without having one hand in a different playing zone than the other hand. And again, the video was Intro to Tenor Playing Zones, drumming tips number 67. And I'll unpack that stuff a bit more. Let's see. You had a question. Hello, James. How you doing? I don't know what quintoli is, but it's a question. Thanks for the question. Let's drop out with one more thing, and then I'm gonna call here. So if we're on the home tab here, I'm gonna go back into the Shopping Sprees playlist that's underneath the chop section. And we're going to go into here, and I'm going to play my favorite one. So it's at the bottom of this. I really like some of these other ones in here, like RCC's Maury Spree, Blue Devils 2000 is a fun variation. But 5/4 Shopping Spree, it's fairly simple, but it's so much fun to play. I'll show you why. Okay, so we'll start off at a nice leisurely 100. And then we'll go to 7 bajillion. That sounds really interesting, Ty. I haven't heard of that. But I haven't been watching a ton of shows lately. Okay, so these are all float variations. Like Tom Float. This is who's named after. So that was a float flam drag. Float cheese, and then float fives, I'm curious, because, what was it? Few streams ago, worked on like the cheese cha-cha-chas and inverts and whatnot. I'm curious if these are going to be better at faster speeds, which is, you know, what we were trying to work on previously. 110. A little late. Ugh, bad time fives. I'm so sorry. Let's try that again. That was mental. My mind was thinking about something else. And then I made a mistake. The first one this decade. Wow. You were here for it live, folks. Mark this in your calendar. Stay tuned. In 10 years, we'll have another one. Yeah, so mental mistake because I was thinking about something else. And then that second rep, I was, talking, and I, played the wrong thing. I'm so sorry. I know. So disappointing. Scandalous. Make a video about it. Jared O'Leary made a mistake. Caught live in 4K. Okay, wish me luck. My hands are like, hey, you haven't drummed in a few days. Slow down, please. And my brain's like, no. Do it. We've got that inner Shia LaBeouf. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. We're not going to talk about that. Now, this play along, you can find it. And literally over 2,000 more. If you go to my home tab, on the tuba view, scroll down. We've got it organized alphabetically. Chop stuff. That's why I was just playing. There's 63 videos in there. Gaming stuff, because I'm a nerd. We're going to play Borderlands here in like 30 minutes. Stay tuned. Grid stuff. There's over 1,000 variations in here. So if you actually have to click to expand. And then it shows you all of them. Nice ending? Thank you. I agree. I've been practicing that one. Worked it up slowly with the metronome. I nailed it today. So there's 420 videos under triplet. There's 578 videos under 16th note grid. And then, if you scroll down here, there's 37 wacky ones like herta grid. So stay tuned. Which Borderlands? Borderlands 3. First time playing through it. There's limb independent stuff. I'm going to work on that tomorrow. I'm specifically going to be practicing limb independence because I'm not good at it yet. So I'll show you how I practice that. But if you go into any of the playlists that are in this section, whether it's the timing exercises or any of the drum charts, straight or swung, if you open up the playlist on here, this second video shows you how to develop limb independence and how I'm trying to actively work on it to be able to improve it. So check that video out. But we've also got almost 500 marching bass related exercises. We've got a bunch of drumline cadences, computer science stuff, because again, I'm a nerd. We've got a few hundred technique exercises. So if you click to expand, it shows you all of these technique exercises. I'd highly recommend spending most of your time working on this kind of stuff. Go slow. There's a reason why these like BPMs go like 20 BPM or 40 BPM. It helps you. And then underneath the tips and lessons, you can find all the prior live streams, or you can find the edited responses when people ask me questions. I'll put them in this drumming tips playlist. But there's literally over 13 hours of advice in here, things that I've learned over the decades that I've been drumming since 1998 and teaching since 2003. So, shh, don't you dare. Hi, Jared. Ghost note shirt. Don't you dare talk. We don't need two. We just need one. Goodbye, Jared. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm going to get ready for some Borderlands 3, so stay tuned for that. But if you enjoy this content, just share it with somebody else. I make lots of it for free. All the ones that say members first. If you click the join button, you can join, but it only costs 99 cents. But you don't need to pay for it in order to join. Thank you again, Highest Cam, for donating membership to somebody. I hope they appreciate that. If they don't, we will find them and we will ask for it back. Just kidding. Don't do violence. But if you wait, all the members first videos come out for free. So again, I'm not selling you stuff here. It's only if you want. I hope you also have an amazing day, Travis. And feel free to ask questions and comments, and I can point you to more resources, or I can answer it in a future stream. Feel free to stop by future streams, or don't. 100% up to you. But I hope you all enjoy this free content. I'm going to get ready for some Borderlands, and goodbye.